Say, right, so first and foremost, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yoshai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. We say that once a person, I let every emotion who teaches our person in truth. And we say salutations, so I come to the push with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season on season, we say Shalom. And once again, going into our video here, and that's basically touching upon a situation with this guy here. His name is Julian Brown. What Julian Brown did some months ago, as you can see, I had the video saved because I was supposed to do a video on it upon this second video that he uploaded. But before I get to that, what Julian Brown did is that, as you can see here, it's a Iranian diesel truck of plastic waste. So what he's been doing is making diesel and I believe natural gas out of plastic, right? And you know, his page, right, as you can see his page here, you know, he shows videos of him doing it. In this first video, this being the first video that I saw, he actually started a vehicle with the plastic with the plastic diesel, right? But then, you know, the video got some traction, right? And he did this particular video, right?
I know one of my biggest pet peeves in my comment sections is when black people tell me, don't work with that white person because they're gonna steal your stuff, they're gonna colonize you, they're evil, don't work with them.
You can see he was getting warning from other Jakes that telling him, hey, don't work with the white man because he's going to steal your work, he's going to do this, right? But that's as usual, you know, he started to defend his enemy, right? He started to defend his enemy and saying that the people who were telling him those stuff is wrong, right? Now, just to take a pause here, you know, the reason why I take the pause is because there are a sequence of videos that I want to show. I show the first one with him making the plastic gas. The second one with him saying that, you know, going against the people that telling him that working with Esau, right? And then he came to do this video, right? It's an African American man, Julian Brown, who made his own fuel station from plastic waste since 17 years, raises awareness that he's being targeted.
That's why I'm having to drive 4 hours. I know that I'm not gonna live long. And that's why I put every day, every hour, every minute into building, into growing. Why am I out here working on this plastic in the fuel reactor I've been working on for 5 years, since I was 17? Why am I out here in 100-degree weather? Why am I out here despite being falsely accused and reported to the EPA and the IRS? Why am I out here despite weird black helicopters that turn off their radar transponder circling me 6 times at night? Why am I out here sleeping in my van? Crazy humidity, mosquitoes, gnats flying in, and yet I still do it. Why am I out here despite having to drive 4 hours every time I want to work on this machine? Because when I was doing it in my parents' backyard, I blew myself up and I had to go to the hospital for second-degree burn surgery. I do this because this is my mission that I've assigned myself to. I do this because I do not fear death. I do not fear suffering or uncomfortability. You know what I fear? I fear allowing an idea.
So, while the video buffering, as you can hear, he's talking about his experiences since, you know, he's been sharing his breakthroughs and so forth with the natural, turning the plastic into gas and so forth, turning it into the diesel, right? He mentioned that he's being targeted, you know, he's being reported to the government by, right? He also mentioned that there were black helicopters circling, which what he's been doing his work and so forth, right? And coming back to the second video that I show, where it showed that he was actually defending Esau, now Esau against him, right? So now that he's talking about he in fear these things, he in fear that and so forth. Now, take one more pause into the video here. Right, so coming back here now, it states, reports suggest that Julian Brown is being missing after not being heard from since July the 3rd, 2025. So basically, after he uploaded this video talking about, you know, that he's being targeted, you know, black helicopters over him, it's being reported on and so forth. Now he's been reported since July the 3rd, 2025, which as I saying, which is definitely abnormal. He's been missing since then. So it's like 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks and a half, right? So he's been let's say Julian Brown, a young inventor who created a young inventor who created technology to convert plastic into gasoline, has been seen online for over 2 weeks. Right after 2 weeks, this person
So I'm
something is
still working. I'm still building. Nothing's gonna stop that.
And again, that is why I went in the sequence of the videos to show where it started from. Show his video defending Esau, and then now he's come. It made a whole circle that he's missing, right? And seeing this happen. Let me go to the script here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 10. It said, "Never trust an enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness." And that is what he did. He trusted his enemy, right? He trusted his enemy. You see, the video, the second video, him saying that, his pet peeve is people telling him not to work with the white man and so forth. Yeah. So basically, what he did was trusted his enemy, and watch what became the outcome of that. He went from being targeted to now to the fact that he's been missing. Now they don't know if he's just missing because he hiding himself, but we know when you look up, like when you go through like the history of people that have been creating certain things, they have been put down, right? Esau has put them down. Some of the people that cure cancer, some of the people that created cars that could do different things, they were killed, right? They were put down, right? You can see in the video, you see how he started the waka with the plastic gas. Right now he's going missing. Why? Because he wanted to do what? When people was telling him not to trust the enemy, what he did, he went and trusted his enemy. So the scripture says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness." Yeah, so is his wickedness. Right? So is his wickedness. Right? Iron must rust. So the wickedness of your enemy is always there. It's natural to them. Right? It's a matter of fact, let me look up this word here. Right? When you look at the word trust, just a quick Google search. Right? Let's say trust meaning. Say the meaning of trust is firm belief in the reliability, truth, or ability of someone or something. And the scripture is literally telling us never trust the enemy. So you're not supposed to be reliable on the enemy. You're not supposed to have a firm belief in them, but that is what he did. You understand? When it started to take traction, people was telling him, "Yo, don't trust Esau." But then he came back doing a video that one of his pet peeves is people telling him not to work with these Edomites, not to work with the white man. What's going on now? He went from being targeted to now to the fact that he's been missing. Now, as I said, the report stated that he's been missing for 2 weeks. No account, as I said, is abnormal, right? And so they're really not sure what happened with him, right? But again, all these things adding up with him doing the video saying that plane circulating, black planes has been over him, right? They're reporting to the EMA or whatever it may be, and you can see from these videos he's been putting up, something is happening. Keep me in your prayers, right? So you can see he most likely he's been targeted, and just as before, as many other inventors before, when they did something like these things, they were put down. They didn't last long. So going back to the scripture, it said, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away." Yeah, right? So it said, though he humble himself, yeah, he come, I will help you. I'll give you money, I will donate to you. And that is going into the second video. You also mentioned that the money that somebody Edomites was giving him. And for Jake, them like those stuff. The money that help, and don't realizing there's a purpose they're doing that for. Right? It said, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed. Take good heed. Right? Take good heed. The meaning of the word heed, it say pay attention to, take notice of, right? Pay attention to, take notice of. It's a careful attention, right? So that is what you're supposed to be doing when the enemy next there, right? Or the enemy in the midst of yours, take careful attention, right? And say, and beware of him, beware, right? Because that is the enemy. What enemy would want to see his enemy do something good? It wouldn't make sense, right? And Esau has always been against us since the beginning of time. Right? That is where you would say our natural born enemies. Right? So say, take good heed of him, and thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. So his wickedness will always be there. Right? It says, set him not by thee. Yeah. Set him not by thee. And this is something he did. Where they was donating him money, right? As he said in the second video, you know, his pet peeve is when people tell him to work with the white man, you know, but some of his biggest investors, some of his biggest people is them. And watch what won. Watch what went on. All because he did what? He set the enemy next to him. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. So he said, and thou at last remember my words. Yeah, remember these words. You know? This person said this is becoming too coincidental. This person said he posted a weird video in the past few months saying something like this will happen. Right? This person said he's fine. Right? Now, as I said that, so they're saying that is whereabouts, that he is fine and so forth. So basically, even if he is not technically missing, or he put himself in a situation where, you know, he's missing because the videos that he did saying that you know, the black helicopters and so forth are circling him, it goes to show that, hey, never trust your enemies. Right? Never trust your enemies. So this person said this, if you do the tiniest bit of digging, it sounds like he is laying low and staying off social media. Yeah, right, because now you get to understand that the enemy coming for him. You know, the enemy in playing with him. You trying to interfere with a $1 trillion industry, which is the gas. There are people that disappear who try to do certain things, who did less. And you making user Jake doing making an invention that turning plastic into gas, right? Into diesel and natural gas, and it's working. What you feel they're going to do? What you feel they're going to do? You know, they might get rid of you, take your invention, and then get some Edomite it and say he's the man that created it. You know, that is what they will do, right? That very scripture says, set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, stand up in thy place. Right? Take his spot. You know? I even doubt it in the coming months, coming time, you know, if something happen, you might see Aida might doing the same thing. Right? Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. You know, take his spot. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. You say, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any of such come nigh wild beasts? Yes, so who will pity a charmer? Because why? A charmer is playing with a beast that at any moment could strike him and kill him. Right? So why you gonna pity him for? Because you know he's playing with something dangerous. And that is how it feels. As I said, you know, I saved the videos. I saved the videos months ago, was to do a video on it, and I never did. And now it made that whole circle and come back here. Now they're saying he's missing. Now he's saying he's staying low because of certain things. So it goes to show, you know, it comes at the right time now. But hey, never trust your enemy. He went play. He come like that charmer, playing with that beast. So what you gonna feel pity for him for? He was defending them at the time, at that point in time, right? It say, so one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in a sense who will pity, right? So yeah, it say, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. Yeah. So that's it. They give you a little money, they give you this to help you. As he said, become his what? Is some of his best donors. You know, when it comes to money, but that a purpose of why they're doing it, right? It say, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he findeth opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Right? So yeah. You know? And it's a situation where now, even if he's keeping low and so forth, there's a purpose and a reason why he's keeping low. Right? And know the enemy come fame, making that natural gas. Yo. Right?
To go to the hospital for second-degree burn surgery. I do this because this is my course, but myself. And I am not a quitter. And now that I've set my mind on this, because I wish to liberate humanity. I wish to liberate humanity from this cycle in which we're bound by waste, in this cycle in which we're bound.
You know, many other creators before you, they told the same thing, right? To as he said, to liberate humanity and so forth, think they're going to do something good, and then Esau come in and did what? Get rid of them. Took the technology and used it as their own. And that is the reason why we continue this. And the scripture said, never trust thine enemy. Never. Right? So, hey, once again, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. We say that most apostle and celebrate most and who teaches the apostle in truth. And we see salutations so they can say the push with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out on a constant day. In season or the season, we say, Shalom.